saying how excited we are about you guys being able to head back to Australia for a tour. How are you guys feeling about it?
We're feeling good, man. It's always the spot to go. You know, we always have a blast. So we're definitely feeling like we've been missing it, right? Because it's been a couple years with the good old COVID working its magic. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, I read a quote that said that you called Australia your home away from home. Tell us a little bit about that love affair with Australia. What is it that makes you love Australia so much?
Well, the first time we went there, we didn't really know what to expect. We came down to Alternative Nation in like '95, a long fucking time ago, 27 years ago, I guess. And we just had some really great shows, man. The show in Sydney was like life-changing, crazy. Everyone showed up. We had no idea that we were, capable of having 3,000 people, 4,000 people on the stage, whatever it was. It went completely mental. So there was like the whole like, wow, the Australian energy is absolutely off the chain. And also the fact that it just reminded us of home. Like, California used to be this, Hermosa Beach, namely, was this, like known surf town, party town, friendly, knew everybody everywhere, go to a restaurant, go to a bar, there's your people, and just had a really cool vibe. And that's kind of gone away with, rich people coming in here trying to buy up all the property, beachfront property. It's become pretty ugly. We're not really like someone like me, I go into a restaurant, people look at me like, what the fuck is that guy doing here with bad tattoos and a baseball cap on or whatever, and I'm like, weird. I built this fucking restaurant or something,
Yeah.
So it's just, Australia's always been behind the learning curve a little bit, I think, like it kind of plays catch up with California in a weird way. And so getting down there in those, it's just been like, it reminds us of home when it was good, and home is not as good. It's still home, and it's still cool, and I can't complain much. I live at the beach in Hermosa, but definitely that the people in Australia are just friendly. They like to party. The energy levels there at the shows are on par with the best shows we've ever had in our lives in the world. It's no doubt that Australia is right there with the best crowds that we've ever dealt with. So it's just really fucking fun and cool. It's all, mostly a lot of beach communities, right? Which is where we come from, so we can relate to the water and the ocean and surf community and all that shit. So yeah, man, there's just multiple reasons why it's cool there. I married an Australian girl.
Yeah.
Recently. I married a couple years ago. That's how much I like Australia. So don't be surprised if I show up in Melbourne, because I got a house there waiting for me. So you never know.
Definitely.
Time to call it quits over here. America's getting crazy.
Yeah. And I was going to ask that one of the places that you're playing here in Melbourne is the Chelsea Heights Hotel, which is the rite of passage kind of hotel when you're growing up in Melbourne to go to see the most iconic bands. When I was growing up, it was the place where we used to go to see bands like Cold Chisel, and all the iconic Aussie bands used to play there. And it's such an iconic place that it feels right for you guys to be playing there as well as honorary Australians. Did you know much about the history of that hotel when you signed up for this tour?
Not really. I've heard of it, obviously. A lot of bands have played there, and it's always been known as a cool spot. But I definitely, think being able to go into a place like that, it's got a lot of history, just adds to the fun, right? If you guys are all stoked on a venue and it feels special, then those kind of shows are always, better than usual, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So looking forward to it for sure.
I'm sure the green room there is going to have some great memories on it. Is that something that, as a band, you take in when you go into an historic venue like that? Like, do you take time to read the stuff on the green room wall, or have a look at the photos of the artists in there from the 60s and 70s?
Absolutely. Very cool to be able to like a lot of European venues like let people go crazy with the graffiti and stickering and stuff, and it's kind of like you come in there and you read the story. But of course, like the venues that put up pictures of gigs that actually happen on the property and band members and hangouts, it's always cool. Like the history of a venue is super important to us. Like as far as like not knowing a lot about it right now, when we leave there, we will, and we'll hear a bunch of stories and be able to kind of fall into that whole vibe of it. So yeah, for sure, it's always cool to know the history of where you're playing. Some of the venues we play are like supposedly haunted, this, that, and the other. Bands that have come through. It's always awesome to learn that shit.
So Fletcher, tell us a little bit about the last couple of years for you guys. I mean, it must have been torture for you not to be able to get out there and play for your fans. I know it was torture here for us that was in lockdown, and in here in Melbourne, we were in the biggest lockdown in the world. So what was it like for you guys? How have you spent the last few years?
Watching Australia be in hardcore lockdown.
Yeah.
It's pretty, yeah. Hearing complaints, because obviously, like I said, my wife's from Australia, so got a bunch of friends over there. There's definitely, you guys had it hard over there for sure. No doubt about that. And that my condolences. I mean, every country handled it differently. America did their thing. And I don't know, like I would say it was a welcome break in a weird way, but at the same time, unwelcome. Like you don't want to be not playing shows. Like that's what we do. That's like basically my lifeblood. Like getting on stage and having a couple drinks and hanging out with friends and other band members and fans, and just that whole thing is kind of our life. So when you take that away, it's pretty eye-opening. Like, whoa, we've taken 6 months off or 3 months off or this, but like a year plus, definitely started feeling the pain of that. And it's not like being in Pennywise is a job, really. I never thought of it as a job. It's just like fun, it's passion, it's like it's what we do. So that was really difficult. At first it was like, okay, a break's welcome, take a breather, because you're always running around traveling. Like this weekend, I got to fly to Pittsburgh, then I got to fly to Virginia, and then 2 days later I fly to Australia, and then every day in Australia you're flying, and then you're flying home, and then so that Jim just recently said, like, you don't pay me to play the show, you pay me to travel, which is pretty true words, right? But yeah, definitely was hard, and then watching, I had quite a few acquaintances and family members die during COVID, so that was hard. And just watching crew members and the whole music industry just be paralyzed was really difficult. And then the fans, not having that outlet, because something like Pennywise show or a Metallica show or whatever, any kind of music that you're into, is an outlet for people in life, and it's like therapy. So punk rock is really like therapeutic. I know the people that come to punk rock shows, they're super active, and they get a lot of shit off their chest when they're in the pit or just singing the songs. So taking that away from everybody is insane. And you just kind of forget how important music is in life. And it's one of those things that people that don't listen to music, and maybe they watch TV or they listen to radio or read books, like, I feel sorry for them, because music lets you lose yourself. It takes you to a different place, transports you to a different moment in time. Whatever you're feeling, whatever you're going through, like your favorite song or your favorite band, whether you're playing in your car or at a gig, like it's really an escape. So I feel the pain of everybody that got deprived, all of that, from musicians to fans to people that just worked on the fucking crew. Like those, it's what we do. So I'm sure there's a lot of people out there that have fucking jobs that they hated, that couldn't go to work, and they're like getting unemployment. They're like, fuck yes, I love this, but our job was not one of those. We missed it, and we're looking forward to getting back. And I know that Aussie fans are going to be chomping at the bit to have a couple cold beers and get crazy. So it should be pretty entertaining.
Definitely. One of the things that I've noticed a lot of music fans are saying here, and I've felt the same way, is that we'll never take live music for granted again. I mean, I'm in my 40s and I've been going to shows since I was 13, like 1 or 2 a week. And it just felt like something that you did. You loved it, but you did it, and you never thought it was going to get taken away. And then it did get taken away for 2.5 years. Is that something that you feel as well, that we shouldn't take live shows for granted anymore?
I think you shouldn't take anything for granted, you know?
Yeah.
Any good thing you have in your life can be taken away. And that's why I think Pennywise has always promoted the living for today attitude of, like, you know, not to be like dismal or something, but you never know when it's your time. You know, you get hit by a car, hit by a bus, crash on an airplane, choke on a chicken bone, you know, get cancer, have a heart attack. Like, we're all going, and most of us don't know when, you know, and you see that tragedy hit people, 14-year-olds, 20-year-olds, 40-year-olds, you know, and 50-year-olds. It doesn't matter. So, like, for me, I think, like, you don't take anything that you love for granted, because it could all go. So, yeah, absolutely. This was an eye-opener, because when I've done, you know, this has been my livelihood, you know, for, I don't know, 30 years, you know, 20, 25, 30. I mean, we've been doing it for like 32 years or something, but, you know, making money probably 25 years or something. I don't know. And it not only is it your livelihood, it's like what you love to do. So that being taken is just like, holy shit, like, what if this never came back? Like, what if you could not go do concerts? What if you could not get on stage and play for your people, man? That would just be a huge, huge loss. It's like spiritual, you know, like, music is literally spiritual. And like I said, it transports you to a different realm in a way. And without it, you're fucking lost. So yeah, man, it's definitely glad to have it back. And I definitely think people should always cherish it while they can get it, you know?
Yeah, definitely. Now, the other, that are such wise words. I'm going to live by that from now on. That is absolutely so wise what you just said, and I'm sure a lot of people here in Australia are seeing that with their lives now, with what's happened over the past few years. And I know we are running out of time very, very quickly. So what can we expect from your live shows this time around? I'm imagining you guys must be like lions waiting to break out of a cage because of not being able to tour. So what can we expect from these shows?
I mean, we've had a few shows under our belts, and this all went down. You guys were in more of a hardcore lockdown, and I know it's just kind of getting back online. But I know, like, we've played a couple. The first show back was like in Phoenix, Arizona. It was like 4,000, 5,000 people, and it exploded. And, you know, we were ready to explode because we hadn't played, but, like, the fans were just like, hey, fucking, I need this. Like we just talked about, you know, like, they realized something had been taken from them that was valuable. And I know, you know, Pennywise has some of the most loyal fans in the world, and Australia is no exception. We got 3 gold records there, so we know we're loved there. And I know that if you're a Pennywise fan, you're waiting for this moment. And, you know, Broham's probably going to be pretty emotionally charged, because I'm sure people lost, you know, loved ones during COVID or knew somebody. And I just think it's going to be crazy, because we feed off the energy of the crowd. And the crowds in Australia on a good day, you know, when everything's going great, the crowds are fucking awesome, and the energy's crazy. So I think this is going to be like tenfold. And you got the Circle Jerks and Civic, who, I mean, Civic's obviously a great band, local boys. They've been crushing it over there. And then the Circle Jerks coming for the first time. I think there's people that have been waiting 40 years to see them. So they're going to be the best warm-up band in history for Pennywise, I think, in that situation. So I think it's just going to be a crazy night where everybody's going to be feeling emotional and relieved that they get to feel that feeling once again. So we're looking forward to it for sure.
Definitely. Well, Fletcher, thank you so much for taking the time to chat to us today. It's been an absolute honour having you on the show, and we cannot wait to be able to get out there and see you in Melbourne very, very soon. Thank you so much.